All right. What's up, Los Angeles? What's up, Rams fans? Welcome into the LA Football Show on the LA Football Network. Coming at you live, immediate reaction, breaking news, emergency podcast. We're on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and on LAFBnetwork.com. Got the live stream right there if you are looking for it. I'm Ryan Dyer, joined by Rams beat writer Ryan Anderson. Allen Robinson, 3-year deal, inks with the Rams. Ryan, what's up, man? What's going through your mind right now as this move just broke?
I was sitting around today, trying to come up with a topic I wanted to write about. I was like, I don't want to talk about Vaughn. It's been done to death, and it's sad, depressing news. I didn't want to write about that, and then falls right into my lap as I was listening to Jordan Rodriguez and Rich Hammond do their live stream, and it happened right in the middle of that. So I knew exactly
how did they
what I got going on.
How did they handle the news? Did they announce the news during their stream?
Yeah, Jordan said, I gotta go. And she just left the pod. So I forgot his name. Rich. There we go. Handled it for a while. She popped on for a minute to kind of give the details, and then
That's so, dude. I remember, so yesterday, in another group chat I didn't watch it happen, but I guess on NFL Live or something, Schefter was sitting there. No, his phone's always blowing up, and so they were joking in this group chat. They're like, "Oh, Schefter just got up, like took a call." So we were all like, "Okay, what's the big news?" And he comes back and announces like a long snapper getting signed, and they're like, "What?" So at least Jordan's was a good reason, like a big name person signing. So yeah, I was kind of the opposite. I was like, okay, Rams kind of, we missed out on Vaughn. There'll obviously be some stuff coming down the pipeline. Talked about it a bunch last night. I was like, all right, maybe I can actually sit, enjoy a little March Madness, kind of relax a little bit. No, our LA football teams never let us rest. There's always something cropping up. But what do you think of the move?
Yeah, no, I think I'm really excited about it. I was typing up the intro of my article, and this kind of move opens up a whole bunch of questions, which we'll cover some of those, but it also opens up all these possibilities too. And, it's one of the reasons I love the Rams is watching Les Snead do this kind of stuff, just blow people's minds. Everybody's asking, why on earth would you add another wide receiver? And I never in a million years would have thought that would have been a team need that they were recognizing.
Yeah.
But with Vaughn going out, the pass rush is now kind of a team need, and we were looking at through the different lists of free agents, trade possibilities for that, and this kind of starts to open up possibilities in terms of a stacked wide receiver room opens up possibilities in terms of trades, and so. But I love adding strength on top of strength, especially with the position of wide receiver, because it's such a valuable position on a football team.
Yep.
So when to that, I think it's fantastic. We were the Super Bowl. You look at a team like the Bengals, and it's like, their strength is their wide receivers. Joe Burrow obviously is a great talent, but like that's how they got to the Super Bowl, is having just piles of wide receivers, pass catchers that they can target. So
yeah, and you look at the Rams, because people would say, well, they already had that, but you look at them on that last drive was Cooper Kupp, Van Jefferson, Ben Skowronek, Bryson Hopkins at tight end. So when they needed it most, they relied on a lot of lesser talent. And it's like, okay, if you can really fortify that, and we'll get to OBJ here in a second, but regardless of if he's back or not, even if he's back, he's not going to play till November, December.
Right.
Robert Woods should be back by training camp, maybe, if he has a really fast recovery. I haven't heard any updates yet. I know from what we heard in season, things were going well. But I mean, obviously he's tore his ACL in, what was it, October? So, I mean, those last upward to a year, but I would think he'll be back, but who knows how full strength. So this just gives you greater options outside of Cooper Kupp. And the thing with Allen Robinson and again, we'll get to comparing it to, other needs and if it was a smart move, but just looking at the player, I would say Allen Robinson is a top 15, top 20 receiver in the NFL. He might not be in that elite tier anymore, but I think he's still like pretty damn talented. I mean, he's been wide receiver 1 everywhere he's been with no quarterback. And now he
Yeah,
gets to be
yeah.
wide receiver 2 with a quarterback.
I was trying to think of who the best quarterback he's played with. And was he with
Blake
Blake
Bortles.
Bortles?
That was
I
probably his
think,
best
and he
thrower.
was still putting up thousand yard seasons. And in terms of what you're talking about, in terms of depth, but also if you look at the wide receiving core as like a basketball team, he's that big man that can really stretch the field for them and high point and things like that. You got Cooper Kupp at 6'2", but he's the slot guy,
Yeah.
and Robert Woods and Odell, they're about 6 foot. So I like that
Yeah.
too. I like that
Yeah. I
option.
mean, he's a 6'3", so definitely a little bigger. Still runs, I think he ran at the combine like a 4.6, but then he ran at his pro day
Yeah,
like a 4.46. So I'm not exactly sure his 40 is, but I mean, I don't think that matters. The guy can play. He's fast.
yeah,
Um, the deal itself, 3 years, around 45 million with 30 million guaranteed. I mean, do you hate that contract? I don't think there's. I know. So let me say this for those watching tonight. We're gonna go live again tonight with the full crew. We'll have a much more in depth once the dust settles a little bit. We'll see if any other moves transpire with me and Ryan might touch on, but that'll be the more in depth one. But at least wanted to get on here. But I know there'll be more talk about the contract. But I think on the surface, just when I saw it, I was like, all right, 3 year, 45 million, 30 guarantee. That seems fine for that quality of player. What say you?
yeah, yeah. Absolutely. I think that again, going back to the how important the wide receiver position is, especially for this offense. I mean, they're
Mhm.
loving personnel constantly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's absolutely worth it. It's such a valuable position. You really can't pay too many guys too much. Obviously, you can overpay for it, but I have all the faith in the world in Les Snead and Tony Pastores to come up with the right contracts for the right guys,
Mhm.
and build a winning team. I think they have such a track record, uh, that at making moves like this, that it's no surprise, and I have all the faith that they've done the right thing on this. But then it begs the question, where that's a very full wide receiver room. So I
Yeah.
think everybody's thinking there's a trade involving you know everybody from Tutu Atwell to up to Robert Woods.
Yeah.
So
Let's talk about that because they said too. So when I first saw it, my initial thought was, okay, that's turn the page on Odell Beckham Jr. Then Schefter comes out and says, and Jordan confirmed that the Rams still are looking to bring Odell back if the money's
right,
right. They still want him a part of this squad. And so you look at, obviously, like we said, he's not going to play in the beginning, but think about it in November, playoff time, December. You're looking at Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Allen Robinson, Odell Beckham Jr. as your 4. And you still have Van Jefferson, who's very good, Tutu Atwell, who obviously there's a lot of hate towards him, but he was a second-round pick just last year. I'm guessing they're not giving up on him yet. And Ben Skowronek, who played a role. Obviously, they're not banking on him having a big role, but you have to think if they truly do want OBJ back, that they're thinking about packaging a trade for now a pass rusher because they missed on Von Miller or a cornerback perhaps. But I think the cornerback still has a strong free agent market. They could get someone in free agency. And you mentioned someone. I've seen a bunch of people mention it. My guy Sly, Think Blue 47. I don't know if he's in here, but I always talk to him on Twitter. I saw him start a poll with it. So it's out there. Daniel
yeah,
Hunter with the Vikings has been very clear, potentially wants out. Their new coach, formerly Rams offensive coordinator. I mean, do you
yeah.
think the Rams do that? A receiver and a pick for Daniel Hunter?
I, it's on the table. You got that connection, with Kevin O'Connell over there now, and he knows these receivers. So he's got some great receivers himself. I don't know what the free agency looks like right now, but Justin Jefferson is on his rookie contract, and I
Mm-hmm.
imagine they still have Adam Thielen. But
Yeah.
that would be that's something interesting. There is if they add Van Jefferson or Robert Woods to that. I mean, so that's very I would imagine that's very tempting, from the Vikings' perspective. So yeah, I mean I you can't
Can't rule it out, right?
put anything past. Yeah, exactly. You can't rule anything out.
I
And
just think it's funny. I
keep
think
your
it's funny
popcorn.
that yeah, get it ready. I just think it's funny that I think it was very split when this first broke, even within our own LAFB network contingency of this move. You have some praising it, like, "Oh yes, another big name. Like, look at the moves, bringing in talent," and then you have some just absolutely ridiculing it, like, dumb contract, not a position of need. You miss out on edge rush, so you go get a receiver. What is less need thinking? And I feel like whether any of those are right, wrong, and different, I feel like we're at the point now where don't people just trust what the Rams do? Like every
They're-
move they make from back in 2017 when Sean McVay came over has been met with so much scrutiny. And every year, minus one, they just go and win the division and go in the playoffs and win a couple playoffs games. They've been to 2 Super Bowls. It's like, when are people going to say, yeah, I'll just trust what they're doing? I'm going to stop trying to understand it and just say, yeah, it'll probably work out.
Yeah, it's my biggest frustration, with fans. I'm on Twitter too much. You're on Twitter too much. We see
Yeah.
everybody hating on these kind of decisions, but I think they've earned a bit of the benefit of the doubt. I think they know how to build. We like just a month ago. Come on, we won the Super Bowl. Like,
Right?
fans. Everybody's a little bit fickle, and I really don't understand it. If you look at like I would say like a quality pass rusher and a quality receiver in terms of positional value on a football team are maybe about the same, probably pretty close to the same amount. I mean, I think pass rushers get paid more, but
Yeah.
I mean, I think that they deserve the benefit of the doubt on this one, and they're not done. I mean, there's still moves to be had, so
Mm-hmm.
um, you can only criticize it um, if they don't end up landing a pass rusher, or we find somewhere in the middle of the season that Robert Rochelle is just trash in the secondary. I don't like, but
Yeah.
yeah, but
But
even
yeah,
then, like last year, I was saying, I got a draft on the offensive line. You got to, I thought midseason they were going to go after Howard from the Dolphins to shore up the secondary, but they went pass rush.
mhm.
So they're always proving me
Yeah.
wrong.
They definitely don't do what you expect, and as I just showed on the screen, a lot of people were like, "Wait, a wide receiver? Like, what?" And, again, if you just joined in here, we think there's potential that this is to make another move to get someone, but, yeah, man, I mean, I talked last night, I think as big of a loss as losing Vaughn is, and as much as I like Von Miller, as much as I love Von Miller and how important he was to that Super Bowl run, to me, the bigger need is the secondary especially after losing Darius Williams. That didn't get, I don't think, talked about a lot.
Yeah.
And so I just don't know if they just have a ton of faith in David Long Jr. and Robert Rochelle. And I mean, that's literally all they have under contract with Jalen Ramsey because Dante
Well,
Dion's also a free
everybody
agent,
everybody is talking, pass rush. So that sounds exactly like a Snead move. Is
right?
make,
Everyone's talking
make,
pass rush. He's going to go, yeah, he'll go get, I mean, Stephon Gilmore is obviously a free agent. I still am pounding the table. I think they need to bring in Patrick Peterson. I think he'd be a great addition. Who's a free agent they could get for $5 to $6 million a year. But what if they go and get who's a top tier corner right now that they would trade for? I don't even know. I haven't looked
yeah,
at that because I didn't
yeah,
think they would do
exactly.
that. But who's someone there's like, oh wow, and all of a sudden you have Jalen Ramsey and Xavier Howard, or Jalen Ramsey and um who's the kid in Dallas that I'm drawing a Diggs?
Oh
What's his
yeah,
first name?
little brother. Yeah,
Stephon Diggs' brother. Can't remember his last name now, or first name, but he led the NFL in interceptions. But yeah, like that wouldn't even shock me if all of a sudden it's like, all right, that's total Les Snead.
yeah. And this move opens up that possibility to go out and get somebody like
Yeah.
that. I mean, I'm looking
I'm
at
just
PFF grades here for cornerbacks. I mean, Darius Slay got really well graded. Yeah,
yeah.
Stephon Gilmore. I mean, AJ Greenwood. I don't know that guy as a cornerback, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm just really curious what the actual cap figure right now is for the Rams, because there hasn't been a lot of reports of them clearing. Obviously, they've been clearing room. But last I saw yesterday, on Over the Cap, it had him listed at 903,000. Now, obviously, they have more than that because they just signed Allen Robinson to about 14 to 15 million per. So I'm curious what they're actually playing with, because then we could guess better what they could go after, but it's hard to know without knowing what they actually have.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, because
There's
Zadarius
a
Smith
lot of
now. Did you hear?
restructuring.
Did you hear the Zadarius Smith news that
No.
he backed?
Oh,
How he
he
backed out of
backed
his
out. Yeah.
contract from Baltimore? Like, so maybe he's on the table, and you don't have to trade assets. I mean,
Yeah.
who knows?
Yeah, no, the cap number is really interesting, and even among our cohorts in the LAFB Slack chat there in the office, you know, I there's still this misunderstanding that people think that that the Rams are in some sort of cap hell, and they're just not. I mean, they're in a really good position. They still have a lot of restructuring to do. You got the Stafford contract that's going to be restructured soon.
Yeah, extended. Donald
Extended,
might
yeah,
still be extended.
yeah. So
Um,
there's money to play with, and they know how to do it. So I mean,
yeah.
I think yeah. So I mean, yeah. I mean, there's just so many possibilities right now that I'm ready to.
What do you gun to your head think they do next? Sign someone, trade for someone. They're 100% not done. They're doing something else, but it could be as simple as signing a cheap depth piece, something like that. So what do you think they do next?
What I'm feeling in my bones is Robert Woods is leaving town. I think he's headed to Minnesota. I think Daniil Hunter is the target there. That's and I know it's
And
just
you,
popular, and it was like one of the first ones that popped into my head.
mhm.
Um, the second one, I was thinking Van Jefferson and some picks maybe, but you know, I'm thinking,
Oh,
I'm
I would
thinking
hate to see Woods leave. I would hate to see Woods leave.
absolutely. I know that. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, as much as I like him too, I would much rather hopefully it's Van, and Van might have more value just because he's younger. He's on a rookie contract still. He's not
hmm
coming off an ACL tear. So maybe that would actually, net them more in a sense. I know obviously Robert Woods is more um has had more production in his career thus far, but I mean Van's only a third year player.
Well, that's why Kevin O'Connell's a really interesting agent of chaos in this whole thing, because he might
Yeah.
just be like sometimes a coach will just fall in love with a guy and he's the guy, and obviously
Yeah.
they don't need a lot of help. Uh, they don't need Robert Woods, I guess, is probably the point from Minnesota's perspective. Obviously, he's a bigger name. He's got
Mhm.
3 years left on his contract. So Van Jefferson might be that guy that Kevin O'Connell just fell for when he was coaching here.
Mhm.
Um, and you've seen moves like that before, and there's draft picks to be moved, or I don't know if there's other players that are possible. Maybe a running back or something like that. Moving.
Yeah, which no one trades running backs. So that won't happen. Yeah, man. If a player's involved, it has to be a receiver, just because as of right now, I need to pull it up, but I think they have like 8 receivers under contract right now. Yeah, don't quote me on that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've got it pulled up on our lads. It's Allen Robertson, Robert Woods, Cooper Cup, Beckham's not signed, Van Jefferson, Skoranek, Brandon Powell also not signed yet, Tutu Atwell, Landon Akers, JJ Koski, Warren Jackson. I mean, it's some no
So
names on there. But
yeah, and those are obviously practice squad guys. What is that, 9 though? Um,
I lost count.
and and if you wanna bring OBJ back, that's 10. Obviously, you're only dressing 5 max each game. I mean, do you really want Cooper Cup, Robert Woods, Van Jefferson, Allen Robinson, and OBJ on game day? I mean, obviously, that's the best depth in the NFL, but I think you'd be fine without one of those guys if it nets you key defensive player, which is what they need at this point, right?
Yeah, well, and they could be rolling into the season just thinking about the depth
Mhm.
um, that's currently on the bench. So I mean, October to September, Robert Woods coming back from that injury. It's not a super quick turnaround, but they may just be rolling in there with Cup and Allen Robinson and still
Yeah,
having to, have Van Jefferson around. So there may
that's
not even
true.
be movement in that. They could hang on to all these pieces just until they find out where they truly are
Yeah,
with their the health of the core.
that's true. No, that's a very good point because who's to say Woods doesn't have a setback? And then you traded Van, and all of a sudden, yeah, you're rolling into week 1 with obviously Cup and Robinson. That's a great one too, but then
Yeah,
what? Ben
yeah,
Skobernick
yeah,
and Tutu Atwell as your 3-4.
yeah.
Um, yeah, which I don't think
Not
they
ideal.
want if you were to trade Van. So, um, yeah, it could be they could say, "All right, we're happy with this roster construction," and then maybe they do a midseason trade or something, or I don't know. It's Les Snead's the hardest I think there's some GMs that are pretty easy. You can kind of like see where they're going. Les Snead is not one of those guys. Whatever you think is going to happen, usually the opposite does.
Yeah, and he thinks differently than a lot of people. He's constantly thinking in bets. He's wondering, if he's game theorying everything out. He's definitely trying at least to play 3D chess rather than checkers, which seems like some of these GMs are. I mean, one of the Fab Five, Jamal compared this to the Christian Kirk contract signing and how bad that would be.
Yeah, I
But
don't agree with that, but yeah, we'll talk.
no,
We'll
no,
be with Jamal.
I don't.
We'll be with
I don't know either. But
yeah,
you look at different franchises, especially in spending in free agency. The Rams have been very very conservative. Obviously, they keep their cap tied up pretty well, but they don't make moves like this in free agency very often. You know, and it notes something. Snead sees something that the rest of us aren't. And like I said, you got to give them the benefit of the doubt because the Rams are now considered among one of the smart franchises
yeah,
out there. They're making the right moves and they're making them in the right ways. So.
yeah. I mean, 5 straight winning seasons, 2 Super Bowl appearances, the latest being a win. At some point, people need to stop over questioning. So tonight will be fun. So make sure to tune in tonight.
Yeah,
It'll be by later, probably like 8:30 or so. Because Jamal, who's one of the smartest guys I know, but he was not happy with this. So I think we'll have fun. We're gonna have some fun back and forth. So I think me and you are on the same page. I think the overall this is a good move. We like it.
yeah.
Obviously there needs to be other things done. You can't just stop here and roll in with this roster. But I think overall, I don't know. I'm not going to question Les Snead. I'm just going to say, okay, I think this is okay.
Well, you asked me, gun to your head. What's the move? What's where are they going next with
I think it's got to be see again. He's not going to do what I think though. It's got corner is the biggest need. I know everyone we talked Von Miller, that was a big loss. That was probably the biggest need signing. But that was a luxury even in its own case because the Rams, when they got Von Miller, were first in the NFL in sacks. It's not like they had a
yeah,
bad pass rush before Von. Justin Hollins was playing fantastic before he got hurt, and he'll be back this year fully healthy. So I think they're okay in the rush department. Secondary is where they need the most help, but they'll probably do something like something for Daniel Hunter or Zadarius Smith now that he's available again. So I don't know. Gun to my head, I would say something to do with a corner, but I'll probably be wrong. I'll probably be shot wrong on that one. So, but yeah, we just want to do a quick immediate reaction. Anything else you wanna add here before we jump off?
If any of you guys have questions, you can find me on Twitter. I'm happy to answer anything. If you want to hash it up, if you disagree with me, find me out there. If you're not following
Good.
me yet, follow me.
There you go. At Ryan
Yeah.
121. I'm at Ryan Dyrud, LAFB. Main account, LAFB Network. We will be back tonight with the full crew breaking this down, and we'll see. Hey, by then, maybe 3 more moves have happened, and we'll have lots to talk about. So we will see. We'll keep you posted. LAFBnetwork.com. Ryan's got an article coming up on this move. We have a prop betting article up on some fun props featuring Allen Robinson. Who has more touchdowns next year, Allen Robinson or Cooper Kupp? Check it out. Check it out on LAFBnetwork.com. But yeah, Rams, Allen Robinson, 3-year deal, 45 million, 30 million guaranteed. When there's more details on the contract, we will let you know. But that is it for now for Ryan and Ryan on the LA Football Network. Checking with you all.